The Outlaw 600s, heat race number 2 coming up right after that. Following our Outlaw 600s will be Super Stock Free Air 340s, as they will be lickety split around the ice. But again, thanks so much for coming out and joining us here at the World Championship Derby Complex, Eagle River, Wisconsin, the snowmobile capital of the world. If you ever come up here and you get to journey around a little bit, make sure you visit the World Snowmobile headquarters located just off of Turn 4 of the Derby Complex. So it will be a pace lap, or as they call it in Ice Oval, a recon lap for the Outlaw 600s. We call it a pace lap on the dirt or on the pavement. So getting set to go. Again, thanks so much for joining us out here at the track. Thanks for joining us on Flow Racing. Don't forget to download the Flow Racing app. Just $150 a year gives you access to everything on Flow Sports, not just Flow Racing. Check out some NCAA wrestling. They had a big old wrestling event this week. My goodness gracious, that was a shindig on Wednesday night. But you can check out the complete schedule, everything on Flow Sports, or check out all the sports that are offered through the Flow Sports subscription. But download the Flow Sports app, pick your favorite sports, and it'll show you some cool stuff. The other thing I'd like to remind people, too, that are tuned in watching on Flow Racing is you don't see everything on social media. Everybody's used to going to social media. Make sure you keep track of the website or on the app itself. Take a look at some of the featured videos that are out there. They do a lot of documentaries, so Flow Racing and Flow Sports doing a lot of documentaries. There's a really cool one on a weightlifter that I really enjoyed, the Lion Slayer. But you can check out all the cool documentaries and behind the scenes and different stuff that takes place, but that's all through the Flow Sports app. So don't just rely on your social medias. Here we go, Outlaw 600 heat race number 1. Again, that transition class coming off the short tracks onto the ice oval. The 600cc power plant's hanging out to the right-hand side of these things, and it's going to be Dave Lever out of Saxon, Wisconsin, 66 on the inside of row number 1. To the outside out of Browntown, Wisconsin, James Curran in the 3XL.
The inside, row number 2, the 4 of Ronald Theroff out of Lisbon, Iowa. Outside of him, the 1 of Joe Schneider out of St. Germain, Wisconsin.
And Big Bend, Wisconsin racer Curtis Kurth, the number 84, is going to roll off back in that number 7 starting spot. And again, a recon lap coming at us here as they'll pace it on through. It will be a rolling start. Something that's a little different, too, from the short tracks. On a short track, usually you cut them loose about right there is where they get the green flag. This is more of a NASCAR-style start, so it'll be partway down the front stretch before they get green flag racing action here for the Outlaw 600, so we cut them loose. The interesting thing to watch for, or what I'm watching for this week, is last week we actually capsized an Outlaw 600. I've never seen one go over, and we had one flip on the front straightaway last weekend, so that was very exciting for all of us.
I saw that on Flow Racing.
Yeah, that was crazy. No pressure on Rico, but the flagman last week picked it up right himself. He uprated an Outlaw 600, so hope you've been doing your squats.
We'll be looking
in case it happens again.
Be looking for a chiropractor sponsor
yeah.
If we keep that up. Dave Levra going to set the pace. This is just like stock car racing now, right? Dave Levra going to go ahead and set the pace on the field?
He is indeed.
He'll bring him into the front stretch. All eyes on Rico. Wait for it, and we're going. Dave Levra, oh, look at that, up the middle. Who is that one in the 4? That's Ron Theroff with a hole shot like a salmon upstream. Pitch. Competition down with Joe Snyder. They're off of 2.
Now we're seeing that Johnny attitude to the sleds. They get around the ice. Snyder kind of got it winged over. No wing on the top, but they wing over like you would see out of a wing sprint car, and that's because that drive track's on the right-hand side. So it powers it. It actually rocks it over and picks up that right front ski. That's a good setup. Oh, broken drive belt coming off. The number 1 sled or something down in the corner. He's going to lose fire, and that's going to bring out caution flag at that end of the racetrack. We got debris on the front stretch.
Shrapnel all over that front stretch, and he was just making a move also.
Yeah, starting to pick up some velocity there. We're going to keep him down on the inside. That's one thing different about the ice ovals. We keep them mean and green out here. We'll throw a caution flag down the corner, just give them a little idea. We're going to kick some debris down low towards speed shot photography. But up front, your race leader is Theroff, and I thought was coming off the pace out turn number 2. That's not the case.
Theroff, Levra, and then the 84 of Kurth going to make their way through turn 3, exit turn number 4. Back to the stripe one more time past Rico. I don't know what lap we're on. Chet, help me out here.
We were on lap number 3 that time by. 4 laps to go, 7 laps of distance here in this heat race for the Outlaw 600s. So we'll send those top 3 down the back straightaway. Good tight battle taking place. The 84 had started dead last on the field for Curtis Kurth. The Big Bend, Wisconsin racers rowing for all he's worth to the outside as he will look maybe at P2, maybe not. Gives up some distance out of the corner that time by. Your race leader still up front, Ronald.
Should be 2 to go that time by for Theroff out front. Getting a little peek underneath. That's Lever on the 66 as they race off at turn 2. 1, 2, 3, heading into turn number 3.
Yeah, take him down into the corner. They'll close up. A little fence post formation taking place for first through third. So here comes the run out of the 84. That's the drive he was looking for. Might be able to take a peek at the second spot on Dave Lever this time around. White flag will be the next time through for the Outlaw 600s here on heat race number 1.
They continue straight in the line down the backstretch off of turn 2. Theroff now with Kurth gathering it up top shelf to the outside of Levra. Watch for him to slide back down as they come to the white flag, Chet.
Ooh, it took him a little while to muster the courage that end of the racetrack and then had to check up as he came out towards the bales. As he'll continue to pursue down in the corner. Meanwhile, Ronald Theroff up front just hitting the marks and putting it around the racing surface. So he'll take her down the back straightaway, and this is going to be the checkered flag coming out this time by. I was looking down. The flagman had a white flag. I forgot we still had a competitor there. James Curran still getting around the racetrack. Checkered flag up front. Ronald Theroff is going to pick up heat race number 1. Dave Lever and Curtis Kurth, your top 3. Coming out of this one, Joe Schneider will need a retrieval off the racing surface after that broken drive belt on the front chute. So we'll catch some debris out here, toss it to the infield, and bring out heat race number 2 in just a moment.
Some debris getting picked up from the speedway surface here. I'll tell you about 9-year-old Berkeley Adamovich. I hope I'm saying that right. Born and raised here in Eagle River. Just recently, she was diagnosed with a rare form of sarcoma cancer. The family is traveling every other week to Marshfield and possibly further for treatments, and will be staying for periods of time. Anything that you could donate to this family would be a great help. Donation jars on site in the bar and in the hot seats.
Going to bring out the skid steer here. We're going to pick that up. That's a little different technique than what we normally see. So we'll get him picked up and dangled back into the pit area, and heat race number 2 will be coming out in just a moment. Heat race number 2 rolling out onto the ice here. John Norris out of Prior Lake, Minnesota on the inside of row number 1. To the outside out of Eagle River, Wisconsin. Jordan Grabowski in at number 17.
The inside row number 2 of the 44W of David Webster from Monroe, Wisconsin. And outside of him, the Godfather, the OG, Bob Richardson out of Eagle River, Wisconsin, piloting the Deuce.
The Deuce, which sat in Victory Lane down here. The Ultimax Performance Belts by Timken Victory Lane last weekend with Rich Bickle behind the wheel. So Richardson behind the wheel, the number 2 sled. And we talk about that. They actually do have a steering wheel in here. So a steering wheel and pedals, not like a snowmobile at all, sitting in the cockpit of one of these things. So we get set to go. Grabowski at front row starting spot. Might be tough to beat on this. He's good in competition for the number 17 sled. So we give a little wave on that time by. Pace lap underway. Green flag is set to fly out of turn number 4. And again, it will be 7 laps the distance in these heat races for the Outlaw 600. Richardson laying back, slow to tighten up into the field. Just a 4-sled battle here in this second heat race. So we get set to do a little stomping and romping. Watch them up front. They'll bring them way down the front stretch. Green flag comes out. We're underway. Richardson on the attack. Look to the outside. Oh, that's 4 wide. Down into turn number 1 and 2. Game on, my friends.
4 wide with Richardson getting the advantage on the outside. He'll bring the field down the back chute, followed by Grabowski, followed by Webster as the field goes into 3.
Ambushed him down at that end of the racetrack. This end of the racetrack, he'll lead out of turn number 4 and down the front chute. Grabowski's right there in the dust trail. Down into turn number 1 and 2. Grabowski's going to attack down low. Maybe, maybe not. Follows in the tracks out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. A little slip of the grip for the 17. Richardson pulls out by a couple sled lengths.
Kind of waiting for a mistake that might not happen from Richardson. Again, called him the OG. He's out front with Grabowski in tow coming to the stripe. With the 44 and the other guy.
Yeah, John Norris there in the number 6, rounding out the field. Up front, it's Richardson showing away. And anything could happen on this. Joe Schneider, another contender in this division, just broke something on the front straightaway, took him out of contention. Heat race number 1. Heat race number 2, still very much up for grabs. I say that, and Grabowski got tight coming out of the corner, pushed out across towards the bales, and Richardson opens up his advantage to almost a full second down into turn number 1.
Richardson, Grabowski, followed by Webster and Norris. That's your top 4. Your only 4 is your leader, Bob Richardson. Will bring the field inside turn number 3.
You know, we're watching up front, but there's a good battle taking place back behind, too. Webster's barely holding off Norris. Norris closed on him at last time, turn number 1 and 2, and then the 44 got a good drive down the back chute and hangs on for now. Lap number 4 went into the books. 3 laps to go. Up front, still Richardson leading by just that second, almost the same across the straight, but look at the battle into turn number 1 and 2.
Tightening up as we speak, and now Norris getting the better of the outside of that 6 machine and fighting back as I say it. As I look down, David Webster with a great shot down the backstretch.
Webster's got the straightaway speed. It's going to be Norris, the number 6 sled with the speed into the corner. He'll again close out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Looks to the outside. Nope. Gets out horsey down into turn number 1 and 2. Meanwhile, up front, it'll be white flag coming out this time by for Bob Richardson.
Bob Richardson in the 2, Grabowski in the 17. White flag displayed as we get a pass for 3rd from Norris, and now the 44 Webster says, no, I'm going to take this.
Yeah, crosses back to the inside, gets P3 on the field. Here comes Norris back to the outside. The number 6 is around, and turn number 4 just ahead of your race leader. Caution flag will be displayed to him as they roll through the corner. Bob Richardson's going to pick up the checkered flag up front. Heat race number 2, the deuce, goes into the books. Boom. Got her done. Grabowski will finish out second. Norris, a little bit of lap traffic right there in the mix, but gave it a good effort to get around to 44 David Webster, and that's how you learn, my friends. Sometimes you got to jack that baby around there and face into oncoming traffic before you figure out the limits of your sled. So that takes it to race number 7 on today. Super Stock Free Air 340s coming out for their heat race action. Going to be 3 laps the distance. Once again, thanks for joining us out here at the World Championship Derby Complex. Thanks for joining on Flow Racing. If you're watching on the Facebook, you can join Flow Racing, $150 a year for everything on Flow Sports. Not just Flow Racing, everything on Flow Sports. Check out flowsports.tv or flowsports.com. And then think about, we'll have over 1,000 events on Flow Racing this year, over 1,000 broadcasts, USAC, all the national divisions, the USAC, the All-Star Circuit of Champions. We have the Wild Wing Shootout coming up next weekend. I'll be down in Arizona for that. A big old invitational, not really an invitational, it's just a run that's going to have all the top drivers in 410 sprint car racing action, so that's going to be a fun time. And the Chili Bowl's on tonight, just so much to see and do on Flow Racing.
I want to hear Chet Christner call Flow Bowling.
Flow Bowling, sign me up. I almost did a swim meet. I almost went to a Flow swim event. They needed somebody to fill in, and I was going to go do swimming. So, yeah, bowling. I'll try it. Nate's a bowler. We got a really good bowler on our broadcast team up here, old Nate Hartman. He's like, don't be talking about me. He is. He's actually is really good. I'm not making that up. I'm not picking on him. He's a very good bowler. You do not want to trifle with him at a bowling alley.
Now you just gave away his secret. He was going to go hustle some extra money tonight.
He could do it, too. He may not have his balls with him. Excuse me. And I mean that in a good Christian way. Here we go. 148, Harley Allers out here. Bedford, Wisconsin racer. Tyler Foster, the Fairgrove, Michigan racer in the 33T. The 717 of Matt Overhaver. Out of Eagle, Wisconsin, and Jordan Siebold, the Kewanee, Wisconsin racer, 128. So we cut them loose, the old vintage sleds, down into turn number 1 and 2, and a big rotation onto the backstretch.
And the 33 of Foster out in the lead. Good run, separation back to second, gobbles it up a little bit. Foster going to bring him off a 4 back to the stripe. Foster, your leader.
Is indeed. He rambles his way down the front straightaway. A little different suspension. These are spring-loaded underneath them, so they don't handle quite as well as the IFS sleds that we have out here on the modern side of things. As Foster out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch, continues to work on building up a lead over Jordan. The 128 sled running second, takes a little glance down to see if he's getting everything out of it, and you see him pushing on that throw. If he could push it any harder, his hand would be sticking out in front of the sled.
Foster going to bring it back to the stripe. White flag out this time by 33 Tyler, 128 Jordan, 148 Harley, and the 717 Matt O'Haver rounding out your field. While we wait for Matt to cross the stripe, your leader in the backstretch.
Yeah, going to take it around here one more time. It's going to be a checkered flag coming out here in this heat race action for Super Stock Free Air 340s. Sportsman 600s will be coming out for heat race action next. There'll be 3 laps of distance for them as well. As here's your checkered flag up front. Picking up the win is going to be Tyler Foster on the 33T. Siebold and Allers round out those top 3 podium spots in race number 7 of 34 complete on the day.